Hey everybody, I hope you can hear this. We're going to start the informal thermal clinic in about 2 minutes. We'll meet out on the field. I'll see you there.
The wind is actually really slacked off a lot. The thermals are actually getting quite soft right now. How you doing, Benjamin? So right now, if I was to be picking a thermal, you're feeling the air just beginning to move. So, but it's nothing much. Let me look around. Let me put it this way. The good thermals are nowhere nearby right now. In the afternoon, the thermals tend to be fairly large and fairly wide spaced. So these kind of conditions this time of year, the good thermals are probably 1 to 2 miles apart. You'll get little weak ones in between, but they don't amount to much. So that's the challenge with hand launch, is sometimes you have no good option. But we're feeling a little bit of breeze pulling towards the pits. So feeling the wind, you can feel the wind just beginning to freshen up a little. It's not much, nothing to write home about. But if I had to launch right now, I'd be launching and I'd be starting almost straight overhead towards the pits a little bit. And you can see that that streamer and that streamer's got a little bit of convergence, but not much. And that streamer is suggesting that there may be something forward and left. So there's definitely, I want to be on that side of the field based on how the wind vector is changing. So that side's not the happy side. So the worst thing I could do is go sniff over there. And yeah, the streamers are going to argue a little bit more. That one's slowing down. So it's still pointing body left to almost straight up. That streamer's coming almost straight at us right now. And what I'm feeling where I'm standing is ignoring streamers, I still want to be over here. So let's go test that hypothesis.
You now throw me.
Well, at least we can see his plane, we can see yours.
The first thing I do is when I threw the airplane, I had no wind, so the airplane's actually telling me I want to be body left, or airplane left from where I am right now. I found all the sync so far.
I'm good at that.
And like I said, there's nothing really good nearby. And I didn't even go to where my hypothesis was.
That's part of the
But still, there's no substantive air movement, so there's just nothing happy. I love it when you want to do a thermal seminar and there's no thermals.
Okay, so if you had to start poker in 30 seconds, what would you call?
Are you talking the 3 and 15?
No, the 10-minute, the 3 flights.
Right now, I'd call 1.5.
Okay.
Wait for something to improve, because based on the amount of sync that's on the field, I don't think I could do more than 1.5. And the field is just yucky. But there is something that's looks like it's forming up maybe 100 meters on the other side of that fence. I wished I had Joseph's arm so I could validate that test easily.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, wait, it's left-handed.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Well, just stand on your head.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
Just launch inverted.
Okay.
Break stance launch.
Throw it upside down.
Exactly.
And you can see I'm almost thrown into a tailwind.
Yeah. Right.
Pretty much.
And I'm getting sucked out there. I'm going straight away and the airplane's drifting slightly left, so I'm going to try the slightly left on the drift. And there it is.
I'll make a correction as a meeting.
Yeah.
Let off slightly.
I was going.
The
heading I was taking was straight downwind of what we were feeling here, and as it was going away, it started getting pulled to the left, just a little bit. So that's why I made that little left hook. And there she is.
So that tells you where it's sucking over to.
Yes.
All about
In fact,
the
you can
sun.
see it drifting to the left, so I probably should go explore to the left to find the better air. So I'm going to do about a 1 diameter shift to the left just for
I
exploration.
could see what he was talking about. Looks like it's all up
There it is.
Oh yeah, well,
There's a core.
like I say, at this time of day, cycles are big. The thermals are big, the sink areas are big. And the wind that we used to have is essentially stopped. Well, this thermal is actually still drifting towards us and body left, just at a very low rate.
All right, your minute and a half is up. You want to come in and call your next time?
Well, you know what the next time's going to be.
all in. That's
Window.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, the eyes won't reach. Just take the eyes closer.
exactly. If I was playing in the comp, I'd be catching it at that far corner.
Yep.
And I'd be throwing from the far corner.
Right, to shorten that distance.
Yeah, I'm still going to throw downwind because it's more efficient. I'll have more height out there if I throw in this very light downwind.
Really?
And everything's pulling that way, and it's pulling slightly left, so I'm going to be aiming more towards the where that mountain is starting
Okay.
for my
Got
target. Maybe even a little bit left of that.
Right. And we're off.
And I'm going at a good pace. I'm
Yep.
not trying to be slow going out. I'm contacting a little bit, but I know it's a big thermal, and look at that pull to the left. So I'm
Yep.
going left.
That was your input, or that was?
Now the airplane started drifting left, so I turned it to the left.
A little. Not
Yeah.
much, but you did.
Well, I turned it to the left because I saw the airplane do this.
Yeah.
And you can see the drift in the circle. I'm probably still on the right side of this thermal. Look at how much it's drifting to the left. So with the amount of time that I was away from that thermal,
It's definitely still moving to the west.
yes. And this is, right now, this is a good example of one thing to pay attention. And you got to watch. Start a 30-second clock. We're align with that building. And even this very light wind, go see where this airplane ends up in 30 seconds. So what we think is almost zero wind, this thermal is going to be a couple hundred meters downwind in 30 seconds, or maybe 100 meters downwind. We've done about 20 seconds now. And if there's any wind, 30 seconds, the thermal will be so far away, or it drifts so very far. So yeah, for this one, I'd be walking.
Yeah.
That's all good. That's better. That's better, and it's closer.
Yeah.
Life is good. So we should be, all the streamers should be pointing towards that side of the field because of this big broad thermal.
Yeah, that one is.
I took my eyes off my airplane. Oh, there it is.
Well, except the one behind us, it's pointing the opposite direction.
Oh yeah, that one. Well,
Oh, is it pointing straight at us or straight away?
No, straight towards the ship. Well, to the west.
it's the one on the south side near the Ramada. It's not. It's the only one that's not pointing in the
And I just went a whole bunch to the west, and I finally found the good stuff. So there's the good stuff. And now we're beginning to feel a bit of a pull
Yep.
towards and to the west.
Yep.
So even though this thermal is a long ways away, it's big enough and strong enough, it's still influenced in. There'd the airplane go.
You got it?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and look at that air. So I think this poker flight's done.
We can make it back in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh, easy. First you get some airspeed, then you point it straight at. Oh, pointing it straight at you is kind of fun because you can't see it.
Yeah, it gets a little difficult.
So that should have been about 14 seconds so far.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yep. So there you go. And now there's something that's
Yeah.
brewing. There's a local thermal just coming up near that tractor to the left of the tractor.
Yeah, that just switched 180.
Right. So we're feeling a light pull towards the tractor, and the streamer is suggesting. But we also, the streamer can be a little misleading because if there's any rotation, you get annoyed. But we're getting a strong, steady pull towards the building.
Yep.
So So if I was right now, if I was going to do a poker, I'd probably, if I was starting a poker round, I'd probably start it. Well, if I was flying against Joseph, I'd go all in. But the smart move would call a 3-minute right now because it's not that. Oh, that should have been an all in. Oh, maybe not. There's something there. Right now I'm sniffing. There's a big patch of reasonable air, but it's not great.
It's not the air.
It's so far it's not W air, but I'm still exploring. So I'm going to go explore to the right because I'm feeling the airplane getting pulled to the right again, and that's slightly better, but it's not great. So 3 minutes would have been the right call in this air. Oh, a little happy bubble. But yeah, this is not the booming air. Yeah, the streamer is still kind of suggesting.
Right over top of it.
Well, I like that where my airplane is. It's beginning to break loose back there. It's likely that this thermal has sink pushing down on it from above. So, well, we don't have any good signs for this thermal to be a good thermal. So, it's between the big thermal cycle. So this is what I was talking about. You'll have little thermals between the big thermals, and they're just not very happy thermals.
Yep.
So now this one's good enough for 3 minutes, but it was not a high confidence thermal.
So if you had to come down, go again, would you call 3 minutes again and wait for something to build?
Well, right now I've been up for about, what, 2.5 minutes?
Yeah.
What I would be doing is I'd be checking over that building over there. Because that's what my little squirrel says. If I was going to check, I would have left a little bit earlier based on time remaining, but I should be running into air about there. Let's see. Getting better.
What's your little squirrel?
Yeah. Yeah, there's just a big general, it's not real strong because you don't feel it, but there's something over there.
If it's not blowing
And
out.
that is,
Hard to tell if it's pointing at it
You know?
or away.
I'd call a window on that one.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd be going over there, not there.
Okay.
Well, window's a slightly stressful one in this one, but 3 minutes. 3 minutes might be the safest solution, but pretend it's a window just for giggles.
Okay. We're giggling.
And now you can feel the breeze just pulling that way.
There is something. It's not.
That's the first contact. Airplane staying body right.
Yeah.
So the airplane told me on that one, body right, to go to where the thermal was. Now I'm just doing a circle, and I'm going to watch the circle, and because I know I'm not in the center of this. So just try and feel her out, figure out where the better air is. And there's some meat in the far side. You see, I did the reverse because I felt like I needed more body right. And now I'm extending outwards based on that last circle. And it should get a real good pop through there. Yep. There's happiness. Well, too far. But I'd say that one's good enough for a W.
So Joe, what you said was really interesting. Back over here, I think is that what south back here over the tractor?
That's west.
Is that west? Okay. That there was cold air maybe pushing down on the thermal.
Yes.
What's your thought when you feel like the body language says yes, there's a thermal here, but the thermal is contained within a patch of sinking air?
Oh yeah. Well, it's so annoying when you're in a thermal. It's it's just trying to push into the sink, and the top just mushrooms out. So you circle and it pushes you out, and now you're in sync and staying on top of that little plume that's just trying to get through the sink.
Do you think that's part of the same thermal you were in when you were over there a couple flights ago?
Oh no.
Okay,
No.
that one's gone.
That thermal is.
So that's the next
probably
cycle
half a
through
mile to the
then?
west.
Okay.
like 270.
And right now, I would say that there's a two thermal solution on the field. One's over here, and the far one over there. This one's much easier in reach. You can feel the breeze beginning to move over. Oh, and yeah, the streamer's going that way. I don't see where the other stream. Yeah, they're both pointing that way. So, no, my next launch would be that way.
Okay.
And it's beginning, at least my body is feeling the air a little bit away from the sun now.
Yeah.
So I want to be a little bit more towards the west from where the sun is.
Just for kicks, you want to go up there and see if there's anything?
Okay, if I was looking for the next one, I'd be going forward, body left a little bit. Yeah, that's yeah. So we'll test that. Now, okay, my airplane just said I better go right. My airplane just was really pulling me to the right. And in fact, I'm getting pulled more to the right, so let's go find out whether that's valid.
Oop.
And it's valid. Yep.
Yep.
So, watching the little subtleties of momentary crosswinds on your airplane tracking upwind can tell you a whole bunch.
Why does the plane turn to the right? Why does it drift to the right?
Well, if the airplane's flying straight and it runs into a crosswind, so it starts moving sideways.
Okay.
So, yeah, and that's just happy air. So if, let's come back a little bit.
I would think that it would push on the rudder.
So it's not really yawing, it's more just crabbing over? Is that what you're
Yes,
seeing?
I'm flying straight, and all of
But
a
I
sudden the
guess
airplane
this
just starts
going
drifting to the
sideways.
right. The
Okay.
wing's still level. So I'm just flying straight out. That's kind of upwindish.
Well, the plane's kind of all over.
And then you'll see the airplane start drifting to the right at some point. Yeah, it's subtle, but in order for me to fly that heading, the nose has got to be slightly left.
Yeah,
So,
pulling down and to the right.
but this is going to be a harder pickup right now. And the thermal should be much closer. Yep, there it is. Yeah, I was further away from the thermal, so I didn't get as much pull as I did on the first throw. And the near streamer is suggesting there's more air closer to the pits.
Yeah.
I'm just playing right now. I could have just circled in the moderate air, and there goes better air.
Recording all this.
Well, I don't know.
But it's all about what you feel. You use every sense you can. What you're feeling, what the streamer's telling you. If there are other airplanes in the sky, I'd be paying attention to them. You want eyes in the back of your head. That's why you have a collar. Okay, so we've now got a new breeze picking up. So there's a better thermal that's just behind the tents. So there should be a thermal on the far side of the trailer there.
It's always in the sun.
The source of all thermals.
Oh, great. Just fly through the damn thing.
Oh, if you close your eyes.
And there it is. Bang. I didn't find the best part of it, but I found a bump.
That looks pretty good there.
Yeah. It's not as strong as I thought it would be based on the signs, so
We might as well just
makes
pack
it look so easy.
Let's just pack it in and go home.
So, Joe, I have a general question about thermals. You mentioned that they turn sometimes.
sometimes.
Okay, is that, it's nothing to do with North Pole, North Hemisphere?
Borealis.
Yeah. And
Well, in the northern hemisphere, they probably rotate about 0.02% more often in the counterclockwise direction.
looking up at them counterclockwise?
Or looking down.
Looking down. So
Yeah.
if you do
But
determine that,
0.02%.
I know, yeah. But if you did
Statistically
determine,
insignificant.
let's say you determine that it is circling, do you feel it's better to fly the plane one direction or the other?
I've always thought that I want to turn against the rotation.
Okay. Okay.
If you're right at the bottom, there's a mild argument for turning with the rotation because you're increasing the dynamic soaring aspect.
Okay.
You're going faster, higher banked angle,
Right.
and so the incoming breeze creates a continuous amount of lift that's independent
You
of
got
how
like a
fast
little
it's
dust
going
devil
up.
thing going. You can actually start to wrap that.
Yeah, the incoming air is always trying to push you towards the far side, and as the far side's pushing you towards the other side, so that convergence will actually give you energy, despite it not having any vertical.
Okay.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
So now that thermal's getting a bit mature, it'd be a bit of a reach. And right now it's just ugly on the field. Again, if we were just starting poker, I'd be calling a short time and trying.
What do you think of what's going on with that streamer now?
Well, it's basically saying there's a lot of sink, and so it should start slowing down as the sink gets centered over the field.
But it's rotated around. Now it's starting to pull.
Yeah, so
indicate north.
But what my body's feeling is saying that way.
Yeah.
From
the wind, from the breeze on.
I hate those things. Yeah. I use them under duress. So I'd be much happier going with my body call.
Ah, got it.
Interesting.
Yeah. My body call is saying I want to be towards the local high peak on the right.
Okay.
And that was a reach. And look at how divergent these streamers are now.
Yeah.
But what I'm feeling here is still yelling at me to go that way. So.
For a window.
I'd probably call another 3.
Okay.
Because it feels like there's something building upwind. Oh, now that I'm coming back, feel the air beginning to pull that way. So that might be breaking loose. So I'd actually maybe take a couple of seconds, look around. Yeah, it's a window. And it's towards the sun again. So that's the heading that the ground signs are beginning to talk to me about. And the airplane is saying I should go right, but the question is the air that I had was left. I'm going to go right just because I'm stubborn. And it should get really good right through there. Emphasis on should. Streamer saying I need closer to us. Yep. So I did a quick glance at the streamer on the near the tractor, and it was saying that there's something going on over there. I just got to feel the wind on my back. That's exactly what you want to feel when you're in this position. And the airplane is drifting towards the sun, but so my bailout is the run towards the trailer. But I'm gonna just work what I got until I don't like the far side at all, so I'm opening up towards this. This flight's gonna be a patience flight, but I think there's enough energy there for me to hang out for quite a while. But it's gonna be a patience flight. If you saw that little bit burst of energy, I opened up the circle a little bit so I can get into that burst of energy. Now the backside's getting happier. I have to be careful not to go too far. Again, it's not a strong thermal, but it's an honest thermal. It's not trying to kick me out. It's not doing anything nasty. So just a matter of patience. So, yep, that one's worthy of a window. It just was a slow start.
It just shined.
Would you consider putting ballast in if the thermals are so far apart, just to give you enough energy to get to them?
If I had Joseph's throw, I'd consider it. But ballast hurts my launch height.
It does hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, no wind. When we practice in New Zealand, the thermals are great. We use a roll. Put in 100 grams when it's calm, and 100 grams if you don't call the air right, you're on the ground quick.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
You're too far away already, Joe.
Yeah. Man, I'm feeling like I'm gonna win. I really am. You're getting through to me.
I'm trying to give you an indication of my thought processes in real time.
Sure.
That's good. I know.
Yeah.
Now, what would be scary is if we could have Charles give us his thought processes in real
Yeah,
time.
because that's the one I'm used to hearing thought processes.
I got to practice to launch with ballast. I realized after putting a 160-gram stick in there,
Holy
Oh, the technique changes.
50 meters doesn't make me feel like such a hot pilot anymore.
Oh, I actually do better in the wind with ballast. In calm air, but it's a force through, and you've got the beautiful whip, and the ballast just changes the kinematics. Yep.
So when you threw and you said you threw downwind to go downwind, why didn't you throw with the wind and turn? Would you lose altitude turning to get that way?
There's a couple of bits. I want to be down there at the highest possible point. So if I throw into the wind, I'll get a little higher, and then the transition, by the time I get to the point where I'm going that way, I'm probably going to be at similar altitude. Maybe, but I've killed 6 or 7 seconds, so that thermal's going to be farther away.
I see.
So I want to get there with the thermal closest, especially with my current handicap.
I see.
When you're running down there, what mode did you have your plane in?
Cruise.
Cruise, okay.
Speed is for diving back at the ground and doing hot dogging.
Okay.
You know, I use speed very, very rarely, except for when I'm diving back.
Okay.
Because normally, even a fast cruise, the wing's generating enough lift that you don't need the reflex.
Right.
With so little wind, the thermal's sucking on this one piece of ground. It runs out of warm air, and then I'll suck over here, and all of a sudden the thermal moves over. That's because it's following the warmer patch of air. And it's like, while we're talking, there's another thermal that way. You can feel the wind go that way, and my mind's always figuring out what the air is, and sometimes it doesn't tell me unless I need. It's really kind of cool. It's like back in the F3J days, I was calling for a junior, and it's like, okay, there's going to be a good thermal over here, you know, launch, go up, take 200-meter left turn, go up, and he broke the line almost out of my hand, so he had like 30 meters on the F3J airplane. He pulls the flaps, and it's like, no, go 20 meters that way. And we went over, bang, went out.
Nice.
Now, it was a little thermal close by. I didn't even know it was there consciously until a line broke. And then my mind said, we need to go here.
Squirrel.
Yeah, little blind squirrel. So
Cool.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm an idiot savant in this regard.
You're just thinking Lucy.
I know.
There's nothing wrong with having that
from
Lucy
Lucy
line.
Oh yeah,
In this field, that's a good thing.
yeah. I've been blessed with finding something I dearly love, RC soaring, and being good at it.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing.
So I've always been told if you have lift, don't leave lift. But in your presentation, you were always trying to get, you wouldn't have a problem going and getting a better lift.
Well, I was still working within the same general thermal structure. The only time I left is like the one time that I have my 3 minutes, 2 minutes in, and it's like I feel like it's better over here. Let's go taste. I have enough height, so I'll taste. And that is, don't stay in the thermal until it's just time to dive home. If you got excess altitude, go find your next ride.
Absolutely.
That's a huge thing.
And on some of those poker calls, you're better off going and finding it and overflying the initial call.
Well, especially on the last two flights, the 4 minutes. Now, your first 4 minutes, I've flown my first 4 minute did over 5.5 minutes because I had plenty of height from my first thermal, and there's just nothing good on the field. So I'm sitting there just cruising around, and so I overfly by 1.5 minutes looking for my next thermal. It's hugely better than just coming down, landing at 4, and standing there and going, well, I hope it's over there. Yeah. So yeah,
I think a hard one for people to get a good feel for is if there's a breeze 6, 7, 8 miles an hour. When do you say, hey, I can't commit to this anymore, I got to start coming back, look for another thermal? Obviously a lot of variables in there.
Yeah, you got to know what your ballast, what your capabilities are. And some people push too fast coming home. Now, I want to get home, and they're going too fast, whereas you want to be in a medium fast cruise and let it might take a minute rather than diving for getting it really fast. You get it back to the field, but you have no height.
Right.
So there's a fine judgment call. Another interesting tactic is on the 1, 2, 3, 4 task. Let's say you're at the beginning of the round and you go upwind and you boom into a great thermal, and it's drifting back, and you're a little over 2 minutes into the thermal, and it's just coming up over the field, 2.5 minutes into the thermal. It's straight overhead, great thermal. I'll pull the flaps, land, do a 3, so I can bang it up into that thermal and get the 4 on it. So use that thermal twice, whereas if I'd taken it as a 4, it'd be too far downwind for the 3. So I'd have to go find something new. So I'll frequently pull the plug, do a 3 if the thermal is nice and close, and then get the 4. Whereas the guys that were with me doing the 4, and now they have to go find something new.
So do you have any part of the thermal clinic that'll teach us how to make better decisions? I mean, some of that definitely helps.
Yeah, well, that's a tactical or strategic call just there.
Right.
And there's so many different flavors of that, and each task is different. And then you also have to fly within your means. It's like the one flight task. The classic one I was calling one of the Chinese in their 12 and under F3K competition. There's like a dozen kids in the competition. It was great to see.
Yeah.
And the air was just horrible. It was cloudy and it was windy, and he just wanted to throw. And it's like, wait. And we waited for 6.5 minutes until we finally felt the great thermal come onto the field. Okay, give it all you got, bang, and he flew the task out. And his main competition was with him, and he watched for another 30 seconds to confirm. And
that was too
by
long.
that time, it was already almost too far.
Yeah. Wow.
And he'd lost a half a minute on 3.5 minutes, which is a lot of points.
Yeah.
And actually, he didn't quite make the full window because he had to leave because the thermal had gotten too far away and he didn't get high enough. But yeah, know what your capabilities are and fly with them. Now, there might be an expert pilot there that could really bang it out and get out of the sink on the field. But if you don't have that superb launch height, don't chase them.
Yeah. Right.
Fly within what you can do rather than what you hope you can do.
Well, and your tip about checking the air at the top, unless you got a real good read.
Oh yeah, there's so many times where even at the Worlds and the fly-offs in 2019, we were flying, the first task of the morning was last 2 4-minute flight. And I launched, and the wind was blowing perfectly down the runway. And it was early morning, so there just wasn't much there. And I'm sitting there, I launched, and it's like, yeah, that's good enough. And I'd circle. And everybody else is out there, and they'd come underneath me, do a few circles, and then it came down to 8 minutes and 30 seconds to go, and the entire rest of the field came down and landed. And I'm still just almost at launch height. And drifted downwind, straight down the runway, so the runway's heating up, so I've got my own little private thermal source because the wind was perfectly down the runway, so this thermal was getting fed perfectly. And I actually flew almost 5 minutes because it took a little extra time to get back. The wind had picked up during the round, and I was the only guy to get both 2 4s in only 2 throws, and there was only one other guy that got 2 4s in that round.
Nice.
And everybody else said, I want better air than that. No. Sometimes you need to be patient, and that's good.
You don't max them all.
Yeah.
And then they're accusing you of flying in sync just to suck them all over there, right?
I used to do that a lot when I was a kid. Yeah. When you got winch, you can play those games because you got altitude. Yeah. Well, you've seen my lovely launch height. I don't have that luxury anymore.
Yeah.
I have to be extra good at thermals to even have a hope of keeping up with some of the good pilots now.
Let me ask you a simple question. Joe. You've botched it. Everybody's down there, and for some reason you missed it. Right this second, If that's where it's at, and these streamers are no longer telling you that there's anything good between you and them, what do you do with what you got right here?
At
right?
this very moment,
let's just assume that you know for sure that
I can't get there, right?
It's not going to happen. That's a land out.
What I've been feeling right now is I'd be running that way.
And why?
Because the wind has been pulling, vectoring over. Yeah. So the problem is it's a stale call. Yeah. Most of it's downwind, and that streamer is suggestive that there's something possibly going on. I can't see the streamer with. Yeah. Okay. That streamer's still saying towards the mountains.
Yeah.
So, but what I've been feeling on my body for the last few minutes while I've been talking is pulling towards the mountains, but it's another one of those low confidence ones. But that's the only game in town. I don't want to go that way.
So where's the point where you switch from launching downwind to launching upwind?
Well, this is enough wind to launch upwind. What we had beforehand was like a half to 1 mile an hour.
Okay. It didn't matter.
Yeah. Well, it would matter a little bit, but by the time I turn around and come back.
Right. You were saying.
Yeah. But I'll be on a field, sitting in the pit, subconsciously talking, and then you look up and he's in the wrong place. My body's always picking these signals up, even though it's not talking to me. I don't consciously
train that
know.
Systematically, like go out to the field one day and just stand
well,
and
that's a
absorb?
good way to try and figure things out, and it's great if you have a way to validate other airplanes that you go out and throw and test. And so I like the throw and test to try and validate.
Yeah. How long have you been flying, John?
I bought my first RC in 1976. I saved for a year and bought a used Craft Series 72 brick, 2-channel brick.
Which
Yellow and white.
Close to state of the art back then.
No, the range on it was about a 1/4 mile. I've run out of range straight up many a time.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. Because I've got a lot of elevator to camber.
Okay.
So that's full up.
Wrong model?
That's in all flight modes.
Yeah, I like it on the Yoda, if you stir the sticks, the little wave it does in the back.
Yeah. So that's full right aileron. That's full left aileron. That's in cruise mode. That's your basic thermal mode. Somebody else hold the airplane because I now need two thumbs. So my thermal mode has. I also have the side slider active. Okay. So the thermal mode doesn't have that much camber in it. Moderate amount of camber. If the air is really soft and stable, I'll creep in a little bit more in the side slider. And if the thermal is really active and turbulent, I'll be thermaling in cruise mode. Also, when you're banking around in the turn, you have to recognize sometimes you're using up elevator, so I'm already adding some camber in it.
Okay.
So there's the ailerons in thermal mode with a little bit more rudder mix. Cruise, a little bit less of the flap movement, and that's in speed mode, almost no rudder coupling. And in all modes, elevator to camber is active.
Okay.
And then I got cute and put a little bit of tape. That's where you hear the crunchy bits.
Right.
So this is perfectly sealed there. So that tape comes right up, but it gets out of the way. It's like for when you do down elevator, so they come together as both come up. So you need to have it so it's not a hard seal, but that's fully sealed there, so you don't get any air coming through the gap.
Does your camber to elevator also apply to the ailerons? Or
oh yeah, it's full span equal camber.
So you sink, okay.
So you can see that's full up by itself.
Okay.
And it also goes the other way. Now, how often do you use a lot of down? Push over at the top.
Yeah.
So I want the wing to actually be able to efficiently generate negative lift. So, and then flappy things. Some people like the ailerons to go down a bit. Yeah, up.
I tried
Seems
the
to be
butterfly on my Yoda. It just drops.
Yeah.
I'd like it to float into my hand more.
Yeah, it's good enough. So that's the basic stick movements.